I'm Sam.
I'm McKenna.
I'm Hillary.
I'm Ashlyn.
And we're the Good News Pod.
Well, welcome back to the Good News Pod, where we take a closer look at the people and activities of Goodwill Southeast Georgia. We're going all the way into spring now. It's March. We've just passed St. Patrick's Day, which was a lot of fun. And as we've been talking about all year long, it's our 60th anniversary. There's a lot of exciting things going on right now.
It is. It's so wonderful to think about the longevity of our organization and then also what that means for the future and how we served people 20 years ago is very different how we're serving them today. So looking forward to the next 60, how we will continue to evolve to really meet the needs of this community. It's super exciting as we look back and see how far we've come, how much we've changed, and with the core of our mission still at our heartbeat.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, it's about getting people to self-sufficiency in the way that makes sense.
That's right. And we've been taking a look at some of those core values that make us who we are. And two of those that we've been thinking about recently with spring cleaning and, all of those initiatives going on, we're thinking about our commitment to sustainability and what that means for us when it comes to integrity and accountability. We are really responsible with everything that comes into our ecosystem here at Goodwill Southeast Georgia.
That was one of the biggest surprises, I think, for me when I first was hired is, you don't realize how much we go through and how much we do to keep things out of the landfill and be sustainable throughout our practices.
Yeah, and it's really all about that. We call it the cycle of good here is what we like to think about that in those terms. And, we think about how we can, reuse something, repair things, upcycle them. All of those options allow us to put some of those items back into use. As people are thinking about maybe doing some of their spring cleaning, getting out to donate, we're really excited that we have 2 new donation locations that are now open.
Yeah, we have 2 trucks available. We have one in downtown Savannah on Haversham Street, which we're about to open up a new boutique there, so stay tuned. And we also have our Savannah Crossings location that's going to be opening up pretty soon. So they also have where you can donate there as well. So 2 different spots available in Savannah.
That just added 2 additional locations kind of in great underrepresented areas where you can donate your items to Goodwill, and they can do so much good for the surrounding communities. That's awesome. I know we're excited to see the donations roll in at those 2 places.
Yeah, and the cool thing is, that's something that is at the heart of what we do across the Goodwill network, both here at home. And then this month we had a great opportunity to speak with Carolyn, one of our friends from Goodwill of Greater Washington. She is a fashion blogger turned marketing leader at that organization. So we've connected with her this month to talk a little bit more about sustainable fashion, her best thrifted finds. And Hillary, I know that you had a chance to catch up with her recently.
Yes. So fun fact, Carolyn and I actually we met right when I first joined the Goodwill organization. She's one of the first people I met outside of our own local Goodwill. And so it's been great to reconnect with her. And she has the most amazing personal style and very interested in thrifted fashion. So it was great to catch up with her and learn a little bit more about how her style really influenced, in some ways, her career. And she got started. So let's hear from Carolyn. So excited to welcome our friend and Goodwill colleague, Carolyn Becker, to the podcast. Welcome, Carolyn.
Thank you so much for having me. Goodwill friends, Goodwill family. I'm so honored to be here to support our local nonprofit organization as a Goodwill network. So I appreciate y'all having me here today.
Well, we are so excited. We've been talking all year about different stories and kind of figuring out how people found their journey. And I think, Carolyn, you have one of the most fascinating journeys of how you came to kind of your job at Goodwill. So you started as a kind of contributing blogger to Finding Your Good up in the DC area, and then that kind of transitioned. Can you tell us what first drew you to partnering with Goodwill when you were working specifically just as a contributing blogger?
Absolutely. So I always say this. I feel like I was born at a Goodwill. I've been thrifting since I came out of the womb. I would thrift with my dad. In our family, we really valued the importance of um, being economical, saving money, just finding ways to save money to help contribute to, the future and supporting our family. So thrifting has always been in my blood. And as you can't see my height now, but I'm a petite lady, very petite, and it's on my personal Instagram, fashion Instagram as well. It's been harder for me to thrift clothing in general, like at the mall and at other retailers that fit me right, that make me feel good, that make me feel confident, that help me express who I am. And so thrifting at Goodwill was always a go-to place where I could find myself experimenting with style. It was a place I could feel safe. It was accessible. I could experiment with different things. I could cut things up and DIY them. And so it was a place that was really a playground and continues to be a playground for me to express who I am. Otherwise, or in comparison to other environments where I just didn't feel like I belonged. I felt otherly. It wasn't accessible. It was size exclusive. And so Goodwill has always been a place for me to be me. And because of that, I was shouting from the rooftops all of my Goodwill finds on Instagram years ago, like over a decade ago, when Instagram was just starting out and getting popular. And I was tagging Goodwill of Greater Washington all of the time, like, look at my finds. Everybody needs to see all these thrift finds. You have to know where to go. And I'm so lucky. It's so wild of a journey. Goodwill of Greater Washington saw me tagging the organization up like over and over. I am sure that the notifications were all over the place. Petite Punk, here she's again. And so I was tagging Goodwill every time I posted, which felt like every day. And that's how I became a blogger, because of my authentic curiosity and love of the organization and all of my finds. And so at the time, I was working in the marketing field in the ad agency world, and I became a blogger because Goodwill asked me to. And then it turned into being the face of the fashion blog, where I was writing 5 blog posts like a week and taking pictures and then hosting meetup events. And then a position on their team, on their marketing team, opened up full time in 2018. And I knew where I had to be. It felt like it was meant to be. My job at the time, it was great. It helped me grow a lot. But I got to a point where it didn't align with my values. My values are really in community, giving back, for lack of a better word, not lining the pockets of corporate America. I am a punk rocker at heart. My Instagram handle is Petite Punk, and that is through and through in my blood. And I thought, what better place to make a change in the world, the change that I want to see in the world, than by working at one of my favorite organizations, at a place that helped me be me and helps me be me authentically and thrive till this day. So I joined the team. It'll be 7 years ago in November. I've been a part of the Goodwill family here in some capacity, whether blogging or working full time, for a decade this year, which is like nearly a little less than a third of my life. And I love it. I'm so grateful for it. And it's Goodwill helped me be me. The mission is everything. And that's why I joined. That's why I'm here. And that's my Goodwill love story.
So going back from one of your first posts, or when you started kind of tagging your finds, has your like personal style evolved, and what you look for in terms of quality or items that are your kind of like thrifting goals when you go shop?
Oh, I love that. Thinking back in terms of my journey, my style journey.
Yeah.
My first finds have always are still, well, always have great finds. I mean, our stores, Goodwill in Georgia, Goodwill DC, we always got the gold. We got the Goodwill gold. We are, our donors are so generous, and I love to thrift, and I just love finding these pieces that I can continue on with their histories and their stories and style them the way that I want. And so that's a long way of me saying that like all my finds are yummy finds, and the find that I found the first day I started is still delicious to me, still the best. But my style has definitely evolved. I mean, as I get older, my sensibilities change. My knowledge of fashion has changed and grown as I see fashion trends, the fashion industry evolve. Through just by shopping and just by seeing what people buy. So my style has definitely changed, but I love a good vintage piece. I love a good vintage designer piece. I found them 10 years ago. I still find them today. And so it's definitely changed by way of studying fashion just by thrifting.
I think that's so interesting. I feel like you can tell when you come across that gold in the Goodwill store too, and it's so great to see that those vintage classics or those really solid quality pieces 10 years ago, today, 10 years in the future, they're going to be there because there are some really great pieces that we get to be part of that cycle of their life cycle, which is really cool.
Exactly. Amen to that. So true.
I love that. Okay, so as you transitioned from kind of a contributor tagging, doing your finds, you kind of came into your full-time role. What is it about Goodwill that kind of brought you in? Not just finding great items, but Goodwill's mission and impact. I know you've talked about that and how you and your family thrifted, but what was it about that as you got into a full-time role that really sticks with you and motivates you kind of moving forward?
Exactly. It's such a great question. And I've been thinking a lot about that lately. What about Goodwill? What about thrifting beyond the goodies and style and fashion, which I love,
Yeah.
is for me being intentional and making a change in the world and contributing to the greater community is in my blood. It's those who have changed my life are the ones that have brought community together, have taken their time to give back or be a mentor or just give a piece of good advice or just like buy me a coffee. Like doing good for others just fills my heart and my soul. And I'm a big advocate of all of your actions matter and they make a difference. And so being intentional, it doesn't have to be a big thing. It doesn't have to be like organizing a whole thing in order to make a difference in the world. It could be a small act, whether it's through making a purchase, making a donation, liking a post on Instagram in support of a nonprofit. These all matter to me. And I try and think about them a lot. How can I make a positive impact in the world through everything I do? And it doesn't have to be a big thing either. Just how can I make a change? How can I do good? And so I look at thrifting and being a part of the Goodwill movement as activism. To me, being a part of the organization now, from a thrifting standpoint, making a purchase at Goodwill, it's not just helping your own wardrobe and helping your style evolve, but it is also we're protecting the planet. We are creating opportunities for others, our friends, our neighbors, and our communities to thrive and reach their highest levels of success, helping others achieve their dreams. We're supporting our local economy. And so we're doing so much good by one act, by one purchase, and by one donation, by one roundup. And that is why I love Goodwill, because Goodwill does it all. We do so many things at Goodwill to help the world be a better place. I would not change my decision to join this organization, our nonprofit, for anything because of that. It's a movement here at Goodwill. We are a movement for change, and we're making big change. And I'm beaming. I just get me to stop talking. I'll keep going.
No, I love that. I love the concept of just the one moment. And I think that at Goodwill, a lot of us, we know that on the inside, but it's a great opportunity to remind people that every purchase, whether it's a pair of shoes for a costume party or it's something that you need for your first day of work, getting dishes for your new home, all of that one single purchase or that one single donation really does have such a ripple effect and an impact way beyond our doors and our donation centers and our retail stores. So I think that's a really good point.
Exactly. It's awe-inspiring. It brings me awe because I feel like for me, nature brings me awe. Like the sun brings me awe. I mean, like when it rises, not looking right at, I'm like, but
bring something different.
Exactly. But realizing that or understanding that, like on the Goodwill racks, everything is one of a kind. Everything is different. Not anything exists like in duplicates. Like even if it was like a batch of something and sold elsewhere, like every item has a different story and is unique. It's like that with Goodwill. How much good happens through one action of supporting our nonprofit? It's just, I'm like, how does this exist? It's beautiful. It's extraordinary.
And exists for such a long time too. That's for so long we've been doing this as an organization, but then each of our different organizations does so in a way that's really unique to those needs of that community. And I love that we all at our core are doing the same thing, but we're doing it in ways that are really meaningfully reaching those that we are sharing our community with, sharing our streets with, sharing our services with. It's really
Amen to that.
communities.
It's community, it's local. We support our local communities, which is essential. It is essential to helping others thrive through, social sustainability, our culture, our economy, our environment. We're doing it all in our backyards, not somewhere from afar that we can't see. We're helping our neighbor that we can see right next door to us. So,
Well, it goes back to that. You're not going to find two of the same thing at every Goodwill store. So the services are very different based on, who we are really prioritizing and trying to serve in our communities.
exactly. Cheers to that.
That's right. Well, and speaking of unique and amazing finds, Carolyn, I think this is one of my favorite things that I learned about you. Your thrifted home decor, which was featured on Apartment Therapy. That's an awesome, awesome opportunity to kind of show how secondhand finds are both stylish and sustainable. So tell us, how did that come to be, and what do you hope people are inspired by?
Oh, I'll say to everybody tuning in, it never hurts to reach out, to do the outreach, to ask, to tag, to say something. And so it has always been my dream to be like on Apartment Therapy for the longest time. I don't know where it came about. I think I saw it online, like somebody else's spot, that I was just like, that has to be me one day. And so it was never a goal that I worked towards, but I've always wanted, but it's always something that I've been like, that would be so cool if I could just be on that, or just like, I don't know. Yeah. Be showcased. I don't know why, but a goal. And so, I moved into a new place and I was like, this is my chance. This is my canvas. And I just wanted, the goal in decorating it wasn't to be recognized. It was to make a place where I felt I could thrive, and a place that I felt like I was having the main character moment in my life. Like, this is my world. This is amazing. How do I curate this? So, what I did, and so I decorated my place. Goodwill is my source of like everything in my living space, from my sheets to my kitchen utensils, literally everything. And it was all coming together with my 80s vibe and aesthetic. And I was like, hey, this is actually pretty cool looking. Maybe I'll take some pictures and send them to a local publication, which I did. I said, this is my spot. It's all thrifted. Please, take a look and consider me. And then they were like, oh my God, of course. Let's feature you because you're local. You're everything was thrifted. And so it's featured on a local magazine's website, and then Apartment Therapy found me from that. And so all I did was reach out. I took pictures and I reached out, and they responded. So you have to believe in yourself, and you have to not be afraid. If you don't get the email back, that's okay. But what if you do? And that's what happened for me. It was all like, it was like luck, where I was like, just gotta do it and try.
And it is stunning. And I think having known you for a couple of years, it's such a perfect depiction of your spirit and your creativity in your space. And what a great, I like that main character energy. I think that's what you said. I think it is giving Carolyn.
Oh, thank you.
Top to bottom. That's so cool.
Thank you. I'll say, so my walls are I painted my walls in a very unique way too. For those watching, go to the paint section at your local hardware store, or like, I know Habitat for Humanity sells used paint too. Keep it sussy, baby. The or the secondhand paint. All of it was paint, like little things that were like reject paints, and so I used that to create texture or patterns on my wall. So you can do it all very sustainably, and also let the serendipity of Goodwill and thrifting guide your style. Because I'm also bad with making decisions like this or that. I'm like, give me one or like two options, and I'll decide between that. So Goodwill is like, it's a lot, but it's also like, I know what I like, and if it's like relatively something I think I'd like, I'm just like, it's $1, let's get it.
So. You let Goodwill tell you what you need when you walk.
Exactly. Serve me, and I'll serve you.
Well, one of the other cool things that I think you have done a really great job of, and we've watched and really appreciated and seen a lot, is you've built this incredible community of thrifters in the kind of DC area. And there's a lot of meetups and swaps and other really sustainability focused events. So was that before you joined Goodwill that you were doing that as kind of a content creator? And how do you contribute to a more sustainable circular economy through some of those events?
Absolutely. So when I joined Goodwill, we had a fashion blog, or when I was a writer, we had a fashion blog called the DC Goodwill Fashionista, and it was one voice, and we would just talk about fashion and style, and it was fantastic. And it was one perspective. And we know that our thrift community is full of stories and areas of expertise and different perspectives. And so the Goodwill team, with my input and perspective, evolved the blog to Finding Your Good, which was about a community of bloggers, influencers, voices with a mission to provide inspiration to help one live more sustainably in a creative way. So whether it's through DIY activities, workshops, thrifting fashion, cooking, home decor, all under the sun, we all have our different angles and paths into Goodwill and thrifting. And so when I joined the team full time, it was my great honor to be given the given the wheel to steer and to help build the community even more. And because I've already in the thrift community, it was kind of a natural progression for me to be like, fam, let's go, like let's get together, let's support Goodwill, let's have fun, let's build community, because especially now more than ever, and no matter the city, the town, the place that you live in, we are all looking for human connection in this world where digital is taking over, and our meaningful relationships are becoming much weaker, and they're disappearing. So we need ways to build meaningful connections beyond, hey, I saw you once, but like, let's have meaningful conversations and bonding over things that matter the most to us. And I'm finding that through events like clothing swaps and meetups, these are the third spaces. These are the ways to build meaningful connections. And it's truly an honor to do that under the umbrella of Goodwill, because it's our mission to transform lives. I mean, through job training programs, career development opportunities. And for me, it just goes beyond, we're transforming lives through what we do and who we are. And we're transforming lives through using our resources for good and for the community.
Because at the end of the day, a lot of what we do through our mission services and the impact that we have as Goodwills is connection and relationships.
Exactly.
To listen truly to what people are doing and where they want to go and how we can help them get there.
Exactly. That's so true. Like, we want people to live better, more fulfilling, fruitful lives. And if we can use our resources, our brand, our mission, what we offer, thrifting, donations, sustainability, if we can use that to make people live the lives that they want to live, sign me up. I want to be a part of it.
That's what gets me here every day. I know for sure.
Yes.
Well, I have one last question for you. So as you know, Goodwill is celebrating Goodwill Southeast Georgia. Here, we're celebrating our 60th year of service, and we're super excited about that. But I believe you all are also celebrating a major milestone. What are you excited about that you guys are currently working on in this kind of milestone year?
Absolutely. Yay, happy 60 to your Goodwill, and we're turning 90.
That
Yay.
is amazing. Happy 90 years. You're almost at the centennial.
That's so true. But I'll tell you what, the fact that we're out here doing decades of good, can't beat that. We're still out here doing what's right, doing good, and changing and transforming lives. I am so thrilled and just electrified by where our Goodwill has been and where we are going. This year, we're adding more new stores and donation centers to our portfolio to serve our local communities. We're expanding our career training programs. We have 2 Goodwill Excel centers, adult charter high schools that offer high school diplomas to DC residents. And what I'm thrilled by is not just by these metrics I'm sharing of expansion and what that actually means. And side note, we're also we're knocking down one of our stores to rebuild it and have affordable housing with childcare and a green space outside to the top of it. So it's huge. It is huge. I myself am in awe. Talking about awe earlier, in awe about what we can do here at Goodwill. But I'm excited about the things that we haven't thought about yet. I mean, our Goodwill is so innovative, and your Goodwill is as well. Like all of our Goodwills are innovative with serving our communities and looking for those unique, meaningful, and creative ways to give back and to serve others. And so I know it's like it might not be the most satisfactory answer, but it's like I'm excited about what I don't know about yet. Where we will go and the opportunities that open up with our expansion of stores and training programs. I mean, just the innovation, like from a sustainability standpoint, the innovation in recycling and sustainability is moving at a rapid pace, and I'm excited for Goodwill to be a part of that. I'd be a huge player in saving the planet. If others won't do it, we got to do it. We got to be a part of this. So, and we are. The movement it's moving fast.
It's moving very fast. That's a really good point. I think there is a lot of excitement in the unknown of look at how far we've come in 90 years. How we're serving people today is very different than how we served them, 90 years ago, 60 years ago. So imagine what the next 10, 20 years will be and how we evolve to meet the changing needs. And I'm so excited to follow along with the affordable housing project that you guys are doing. I think that's such a great way to utilize space that we're already using in a really meaningful way for that community. So congrats on that innovation and all the good that's to come in your 90th year of service.
Yeah, I wish there was that reaction emoji.
Yeah, we need the fireworks and the clapping.
Exactly.
Help us produce that.
But cheers to your nonprofit as well, because the programs that you're offering, the initiatives that you were just telling me about, I mean, they are, I keep wanting to say like they're so unique, they're unique to Goodwill, and they're inspirational and they inspire our Goodwill. And thank you for all that you do in Georgia.
Thank you, Carolyn. Carolyn is one of the first other kind of Goodwill marketing colleagues I met when I joined the team at Goodwill. So I'm so excited with all that you've done, and you keep us inspired. And I'm just so grateful that you took time to come and share with us on the Good News Pod.
Thank you for having me. Next time I'll be there in person.
We would love that. You say the words and you've got a spot on the couch.
Bing, I'm appeared. Love it.
Well, thank you so much, Carolyn, and congratulations. And we look forward to following along and seeing the success you guys have in the future.
Absolutely. And as a little plug, follow at DC Goodwill and at Find Me Your Good to follow along on the Goodwill journey and see the work that we do here in the Greater Washington region. Get inspiration from Goodwill Finds and DIY and kick it with us virtually and come visit us in DC. So
right.
That's my end.
Thanks, Carolyn.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
It is always great to catch up with Carolyn and learn a little bit more about not just her story, but really her passion for circular economy and keeping those really great, fantastic finds out of the landfill.
I always think it's cool when you get to talk to people outside of, our little home base here in Savannah, and to find out that she was kind of one of those DIY influencers that we're talking to and got ingrained in Goodwill, that now she works with us, is always such a cool fact that I always forget when talking to her.
Yeah, and she has such great ideas. I love what she mentioned about the UPS paint. I think that was a really cool choice that she made, is like, sometimes you get overwhelmed by the choices, so you just kind of go what's out there in the universe and make the best of it. And I love that sense of positivity that she brings to all of her ideas. So that was really cool to hear about.
Plus, it's just another way that she kind of lives in that sustainable mindset of it's already here. How can I use it to continue to kind of just add value and add personality? And the personality is everywhere. I love it.
And I love how she mentioned that people are looking for that third place for people to come and join together, because we're such in a digital world now. So all of those pop-up events with the sustainability and just using art and connecting together with Goodwill is something that I feel like we could bring to our organization as well.
Yeah, so stay tuned. That's what I'm hearing.
Meetups and swaps coming soon.
Yeah. And she mentioned too that they're also celebrating their 90th as we're celebrating our 60th, which is really kind of a fun little serendipitous moment. and also a perfect transition to something that we've been doing for this year's podcast, talking about some fun facts that we may not know about Goodwill.
I'm ready.
So I'm going to bring the fun
Okay.
fact today. McKenna did a great job with our first segment.
We
so
learned a lot from you, McKenna.
I'm going to try to live up to that. So here on our marketing team, we might be familiar with G-Force Manufacturing, which is our advanced manufacturing arm. So I kind of want to let some of our audience into it a little bit more, maybe bring something that we don't even know about G-Force. So I've been doing a little digging through the archives for our 60th anniversary and looking back on just different memories and materials that have been saved over the years. And I came across a manual for G-Force that actually had a fact in it that I personally did not know about G-Force that
Ooh.
goes into a little bit more about the materials that they're creating. So we work a lot with Gulfstream over at G-Force. And I think you guys might know that where that leads to is we use recycled materials to create a lot of the insulation for some of their aircrafts. But here's what I came across in some of the old materials from the archives. Did you know that in total, all that insulation that we're putting together makes up 95% of the thermal insulation used for 3 models of Gulfstream airplanes? So for 3 of those models, 95% of that insulation was produced by G-Force Manufacturing.
That's so cool.
Wow.
Isn't that neat? I was like, whoa.
That is so cool.
Oh, G-Force. That
Like-
team is amazing over there.
The team is amazing at G-Force. You're absolutely correct. And obviously doing killer work.
Yeah.
About 95% of it.
Yeah. That's math jokes. I love it. That's wild.
Yeah, so that really, I think, gave me just kind of a new appreciation for, you think about one small part of an aircraft, but that's a really important part when you're talking about safety and what makes something perform to that high level that Gulfstream is looking for.
I think it's interesting to be kind of semi-known, I guess, as an advanced manufacturing facility as part of Goodwill, but industry-wide to be recognized as really a leader in the manufacturing world with that silver award. I think that stands out as it's not just a little part of Goodwill, but it's a really quality, high-performing advanced manufacturing facility that is benefiting our community through Goodwill's mission.
Shout out to G-Force. This episode's for you.
There we go.
The award-winning G-Force.
Brought to you by G-Force. Yeah, so stay tuned for more throughout the year. We'll be doing kind of a fun fact to wrap up each episode this year, and I'm really excited to see what the next fun fact is.
I know.
I'm looking at you guys.
Yeah, same as you and I. We're gonna thumb war for it later.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, that wraps up our March episode of the Good News Pod. Thanks so much for listening in. That's our last word for now, but we hope that we brought a little more good to your day. Remember, keep doing good with Goodwill.